Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. On behalf of the Population Services and Training Center, PSTC, and our partners, I warmly welcome you to the second episode of the People First Dialogue series, organized in observance of the International Youth Day 2026. The theme of this year's International Youth Day is different contexts, common aspirations. Young people across our region live in very different social, economic, geographical, and cultural contexts. They face challenges ranging from economic uncertainty and climate change to technological disruption and changing social expectations. Yet, their aspirations are remarkably similar. They want opportunity, dignity, good health, especially sexual and reproductive health, quality education, decent work, meaningful participation, and hope for the future. So, today's dialogue is not about comparing countries. It is about asking what can we learn from different countries, different realities, and what are the common aspirations that unite young people across our region. We have an excellent group of speakers with us today, and I hope this will be an open, practical, and solution oriented conversation. Let me briefly introduce our distinguished speakers. Tomoko Fukuda. Tomoko Fukuda is the regional director of IPPF SARO and ECR, South Asia region and East and Southeast Asian Oceania region, who will deliver our opening remarks. Tomoko has been a strong advocate for people-centered development, youth leadership, and meaningful participation across the region. Our panelist from Maldives is Aisha Lina. Aisha Lina is the Chief Executive Officer of Society for Health Education, Maldives, who brings valuable experience of empowering young people, particularly young women, to participate and lead. Then our panelist comes from Lebanon, Lina Sabra. Lina Sabra is the Executive Director of Malala, Lebanon, bringing the perspective of young people navigating a challenging economic, social, and humanitarian environment. Finally, we have with us Sabik Rahman. Sabik Rahman is the co-vice chair of SRHR, South Asia Regional Youth Network, and the member secretary of National Youth Network, Bangladesh, who brings the voice of a young leader working to strengthen meaningful youth participation and regional youth networks. A very warm welcome to all of you. Now let's request Tomoko Fukuda to begin with the broader regional perspective. International Youth Day provides an opportunity not to simplify or celebrate young people, but to listen to them and reflect on our responsibilities. Why it is important to mark this day through dialogue and meaningful engagement rather than simply commemoration. And from your regional uh, perspective, what are the most important opportunities and challenges facing young people today? Tomoko, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Noor, and welcome all of you to the second episode of these dialogues. And thank you so much, Noor, for welcoming me back to give a short opening statement as you have a very important discussion today. And this episode comes at a very timely moment, as you say, Noor. It's to commemorate the International Youth Day. The theme is about recognizing our diversity, but looking at the common goals and aspirations of young people. But I think most importantly is for us to come together and see how we can do better and do differently to adapt to these different contexts and these aspirations. IPPF has put young people at the center for decades and decades. Since the initiation of IPPF, young people have been at the center. So it is very, very well known that IPPF requires all member associations to have young people as a part of the governing board. There's also a requirement for member associations to allocate budget for young people. These are just a few ways to ensure that young people have a meaningful part of the works of the member associations, and the work of the member association then reflects the needs of the young people. But these are just broad, big, two important points, governance and budget. But the fact is that young people's needs change very, very quickly. And for example, these days we're talking about online violence. We're talking about the different ways that young people are accessing information, which was not like this even 5 years ago. 10 years ago, it is totally different. So even on like online violence, things have changed so fast that on our end, we are not up to date. We don't know what to communicate, how to communicate. We are very much behind in terms of new ways of harm or danger that young people can come across to. There's older dangers that are now becoming more pertinent, like drug use, which was a bigger issue in the past, and we haven't prioritized in the recent years, and it's coming back. And it's coming back together with, for example, a rising HIV/AIDS um, pandemic. So things are evolving very fast. I think the biggest question for us as we discuss young people is how do we make sure that we remain agile? How can organizations remain agile? How can we remain, which means how can we remain flexible in terms of programming, in terms of trying new things, in terms of enabling young people to take the lead in making these changes? These changes need to come quickly. It needs to come with innovation, with new challenges. And I think that's the biggest kind of challenge put before us today. So, as you discussed today around young people, around the diverse context that we find the young people in, I hope that towards the end of this dialogue, we will have some thoughts and ideas on how better can we serve the needs of the young people today. So, thank you so much for joining this dialogue, and back to you, Noor.
Thank you very much, Tomoko. I particularly appreciate the message that young people should not be seen simply as beneficiaries, but as partners and leaders in shaping the development. They should be included in every steps of programming, implementation, and evaluation also. That gives us an excellent starting point, Tomoko. Let us now move from regional perspective to the three very different contexts and the country experiences. Aisha, Lina, the, the Maldives has a very distinctive geographical and social context. What are the most pressing challenges and opportunities young people in the Maldives today? And through your work with She, what have you learned about moving young people from being beneficiaries to becoming leaders and agents of change? Aisha, Lina, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Noor, for the invitation to join this important dialogue commemorating International Youth Day. It is a privilege to share the experience of She Maldives and to reflect on the opportunities and challenges we are facing or the young people are facing in the Maldives. To highlight on the theme of this year's International Youth Day, different context, common aspirations, very much resonates with us. I would say, although the Maldives is a small island nation with unique geographical, cultural, and social characteristics, I believe that the aspirations of our young people are not very different from those around the world. They aspire to be, as you have mentioned, to be healthy, to be informed, to be respected, to be safe, and also to have opportunities to reach their full potential. I think those are very similar among youth in every country. So I believe that even though the context, we can, within the context, we can influence on how we deliver programs and services, but it should never determine whether young people can realize their rights or aspirations. We need to focus on those things. And since we are geographically a unique island, I think to give an aspect of Maldives, we have made significant progress in education, healthcare, and digital connectivity, providing young people with greater opportunities than ever before. Young people today have increased access to education, information, technology, and opportunities to participate meaningfully in community and national development. But I would say our context also presents unique challenges. That is, geographically, we are dispersed island with 187 inhabited islands. Because of the way how we are situated geographically, we need to ensure equitable access to youth-friendly services across all islands. And this remains a challenge within the country, specifically for youth. And also, it also means that our young people are growing up in a context shaped not only by rapid social and technological change, but also by the realities of climate vulnerability and environmental sustainability. So living in a small close-knit communities also makes a challenge for the young people in terms of maintaining trust, confidentiality, and particularly talking about sexual reproductive health and seeking information or services. Like many countries, we are also having growing concerns around mental health of young people. Studies are showing that adolescent young people, they are undergoing mental health issues. 90% of young people, 19% of young people are going through. So those are challenges young people are facing, and then digital misinformation and transition from education to meaningful employment. Around 53,000 something is the current population of our young people, and of these, 19% of young people aged 15 to 24 are not in education, employment, or training, and this is a great concern within the country. So this reminds us that while opportunities exist, we must strengthen pathways that support young people in developing the knowledge, skill, and confidence needed to successfully transition into adulthood. So I believe that at the same time, we see a lot of opportunities. I think those challenges should become opportunities and ways to bring in innovations, how we cater to young people. So young people in Maldives are increasingly engaged, connected, innovative, and passionate about contributing to their communities. I think, as Tomoko has very rightfully said, we need to understand their language. We need to understand what they need and involve them in overcoming all the challenges. So I think our responsibility is to create an enabling environment where they can translate that potential into meaningful actions.
Thank you, Lena. What I hear from the Maldivian experience is that context shapes the challenges, but opportunity, trust, and empowerment enable young people to lead. That's a very important lesson from Maldives. Let us now hear from a different context. Lena Sabra. Lebanon has experienced profound economic, social, and humanitarian challenges. How have these circumstances affected the lives and aspirations of young people? And perhaps more importantly, in difficult circumstances, how can organizations and communities sustain hope and create meaningful opportunities for young people? Lena, over to you.
Good morning. So young people in Lebanon have been living through several crises at the same time. Economic hardship, displacement, conflict, and uncertainty about their future. This has affected not only their access to education, employment, and healthcare, but also their confidence and sense of stability. At the same time, I have seen that young people are not only affected by the crisis, they are also responding to it. Many young people want to contribute, volunteer, support their communities, and be part of solutions. So what they need is not only support, but also trust, opportunities, and meaningful spaces to participate and lead. And I think the organizations need to be flexible and listen to young people themselves. Their needs change very quickly during a crisis, so we cannot use the same approach with them all the time. We need to provide safe spaces, accurate information, psychosocial support, SRHR services, and opportunities for learning and leadership. But equally important is involving young people in designing and delivering the solutions rather than seeing themselves only as beneficiaries. At Salama, we have a youth involvement strategy, and we try to involve young people at different levels of the organizations and in the community activities. Youth leadership is essential because young people are closely connected to their communities and to other young people. When they are given the opportunity to lead, they can become trusted sources of information and positive change. For me, resilience is not about helping young people to cope with crisis. It's also about giving them the confidence, the space to shape their communities and their future. At Salama, we don't only talk about youth participation, we practice it. 4 out of our 5 board members are young people. So they are real voice in how the organization is led and the decisions we can make. So even during crisis, the young people have a meaningful role. For example, one of our strongest example that I can share is Salama's response during war in 2024. So young people have supported Salama through different crises over the years, from the Beirut blast in 2020, COVID-19, and then the conflicts and displacement crisis in 2024 and 2026. Their role during the 2024 war was particularly important. So they were helping us as not only as volunteers, but also as leaders and team leaders in different activities. But this was not something that happened overnight. And Salama has been preparing them to and supporting its peer educators for emergency response for many years. So we have invested in building those skills in areas such as safety and security, mess for emergency, first aid, and emotional crisis management. This preparation gave them the confidence and skills to respond when the crisis occurred. So during the war, many of our young people and peer educators were themselves displaced. Despite this, they immediately became part of the emergency response. Some took leadership roles in governorate, while Salama had no previous experience or established networks. They helped us understand the local situation, identify needs, coordinate with municipalities, community leaders, grassroots organizations, and plan the response according to the needs of the communities. They also worked on the front line. They conducted awareness sessions, provide psychosocial support, distributed dignity and mama baby kits, and supported our doctors and teams in providing services in shelters, clinics, and communities. What was particularly powerful was that they were doing all of this while experiencing displacement themselves. They were facing the same uncertainty and challenges as the communities they were supporting, but they chose to use their skills, networks, and energy to help others. In many cases, they became the bridge between Salama and the local communities. For me, this is a very strong example of youth leadership and resilience. Young people were not simply recipients of humanitarian assistance. They were part of the humanitarian response and part of the solutions. It also taught us an important lesson. Young people should not be seen only as vulnerable groups who need protection. They are also community leaders, first responders, connectors, and agents of change. When we invest in them, prepare them, and trust them to lead, they can make a real difference, even in the most difficult circumstances. For me, this is exactly the difference between doing something for young people and doing something with young people.
Thank you. Thank you, Lina Sabra. What strikes me is that although the context is very different, the aspiration is remarkably familiar. Young people still need hope, opportunity, dignity, and a voice in shaping their future. And your experience reminds us that young people are not simply recipients of support in difficult times, they can also be powerful contributors to resilience and recovery. Let us now bring the conversation to Bangladesh and the wider South Asia youth movement. Sabik, you bring a particularly valuable perspective because you are both a youth advocate and a young leader yourself, representing National Youth Network Bangladesh and South Asia Regional Youth Network. What aspirations do young people in Bangladesh share with their peers across South Asia and beyond? And we often use the expression meaningful youth participation. What does meaningful youth participation actually look like in practice? Sabik, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Noor and PSTC, for giving me the chance to speak. And good morning, everyone. So I think young people in Bangladesh, they share many of the same aspiration as young people from across South Asia or beyond, across the world. So I think we all want opportunities to learn, to build meaningful careers for ourselves, to be heard, and ultimately to have a say in the future that we are going to have. But in Bangladesh, I think that these aspirations are also shaped by the realities that many young people face. We have a very large population and a very diverse youth population. And many young people are navigating the challenges through their lives around maybe around employment, education, different economic opportunities, climate change, and access to having the decision-making spaces. So despite all these challenges, I think that what really connects us with young people across the region is that we don't just want to be beneficiaries for change. We want to be part of creating that change through the decision-making processes. And that's something that I've experienced through my work with Noyon in Bangladesh and also Sarin as well, that whether we're talking to people in Bangladesh or connecting with people across South Asia, there is this common desire among us to have our voices be heard across the world and have a meaningful role in shaping the decisions that affect our lives. So that's all. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Sabik. Listening all of you, I hear a very strong common thread. The contexts are different, the challenges are different, but the aspirations are remarkably similar. And young people do not simply want to be spoken about, they want to be trusted, listened to, and given meaningful opportunities to lead. Let us take that thought into our second round. Before that, viewers, I would request all of you, those who are listening or watching our webinar, so please, if you do have any questions, please write that in our chat box, so that or in the Facebook Live or YouTube Live, you can put your comment questions. We'll bring your questions and comments. And if you do have any questions to any of the panelists, we'll direct those questions to them for response. I'd now like to bring all three speakers, including our opening remarks provider, Tomoko, into a short common round. I'll ask each of you to keep your responses about 1 minute. If you could change one policy or institutional practice tomorrow to improve the lives of young people, what would you change? First, I'll start with Aisha Lina, then Lina Sabra, followed by Sabik, and finally with Tomoko. Lina, Maldives.
Thank you once again. To get back to your question, I think you have been saying that they shouldn't be the beneficiaries of programs. That is very, very well sits with us also. I believe that it shouldn't be us who design programs. It shouldn't be us who design policies or guidelines for them. I think one thing I would like to highlight here is we need to invest in people, systems, and partnerships. And one thing to change is that not just bringing them young people to discussions of policy dialogues, but for them to be part of it, for them to develop those policies, for us to understand what they want from policies, rather than us thinking that this is what young people want. So it's like involving them in every stage of policy decisions. That's what I think needs to create. Meaningful youth participation should become the norm rather than an exception. That's what I would like.
Lina Sabra?
Okay, as you know, in IPPF, we have a lot of policies and strategies related to the youth participation. So for me, we need to practice it more and to give the young people the space and a meaningful role in shaping the agenda, leading initiatives, and making decision. And it's to give them more responsibilities, more role in making decisions at all the level of the organization, even during emergency responses like we did during the last 2 wars.
Well, thank you, Lena, both the Lenas. Now over to Sabik.
Thank you so much. Uh, I think we all are actually wanting the same thing. And if I had to recommend one thing, it would basically be to institutionalize the process of youth participation and to invest in young people in a way that just goes beyond like individual projects and uh, like make this into a culture so that young people are brought forward in every steps of the decision making processes. And like IPPF and PSTC, and I think a lot of organizations are already like creating spaces for young people to participate. And I'm very privileged to be a part of this. But this shouldn't be like a uh, like we have to create like a pipeline so that young people in the like, next generation can also uh, continue to fuel this
So,
institutionalized. Yeah.
Sabik, you wanted to tell that is, it should be a relay race type of thing. You will be handing over your baton to another young people. So, the pool of young people should be in the row. Am I right? If I
Yeah, basically.
Okay, I would request Tomoko to put your
Thank you.
comment about this. In three contexts we have heard from them about the if you would like to change one policy or institutional practice tomorrow, what should we do? And I am adding a question for you, Tomoko. Is that what is the one misconception? Because you are looking after the regional thing. So what misconception about today's young people and that needs urgent attention? Yeah, you can talk, unmute yourself, and then we can hear you definitely. There is some technological problem, in Malaysia. There is a it's disconnected. Yeah. So we'll continue. Viewers, do you have any questions? So that we can respond and the panelists can respond, and we'll come back with last round of discussion with the panelists. Yes, Tomoko, you are. I'm sorry. So your audio is okay, I guess. So you can speak. Just put your microphone on. It happens. Tomoko, are you with us? You can just speak. We can hear your voice. It's a technological hazard. Anyway, um, viewers, do we have any questions, comments from the viewers? Any Chaudhary, do you have any initiative to collaborate with the government of Maldives to bridge these gaps? This question is to Aisha Lina, I guess. Lena, yeah,
What's
yeah.
the question? Do you have any initiative collaborate with government of Maldives to bridge these gaps, right? Yeah, we do work very closely with government of Maldives, specifically Ministry of Health and Ministry of Gender, but now both the ministries are combined, so it's Ministry of Health, Gender and Family. So we do have close connections, and specifically Ministry of Education also. So one of our programs we deliver in for young people age 15 to 24 is our safe space sessions, where we create a safe space so that young people can come and talk about their own issues, specifically regarding mental health, SRH, and other health related. So it's creating a safe environment where they can build confidence, develop leadership skills, make informed decisions. So we have a close working relationship with both ministries so that we can reach out to school children and even out of school adults or young people. So this is one way we have been doing it. And then we have worked with UNFPA, and we have come up with a app called 𝐶𝐸. 𝐶𝐸 in our language is love. So this app is for young people to reach out to us and talk about or they can question anonymously about anything regarding SRH issues they are facing, any problems. So experts will be answering their questions. And then the other program is we have been particularly targeting for young people. So we work with Girl Guides to combat gender-based violence. So we have one program where we focus on breaking the cycle of violence. So young people, every year we have trainings, and also we have with health ministry, with the National University, there's one faculty of health sciences where nurses are being trained. So we have nurses where we trained each year as ambassadors who promote mental health and SRH. So these are ways we have been working with government and ministries. So sometimes it is challenging for us, but we have a close working relationship. It's easy for us to get into schools also. So these are ways we have been working to fill that gap. I hope I have answered the question.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much. Learning about your joint effort with the government, as well as the UNFPA also supported in this initiative. So 𝐶𝐸 is love, huh? So let's get
𝐶𝐸 is love.
yeah. Okay, Tomoko, if you are ready, can we hear you? Can we have more questions? If we have any questions at the back end from the viewers. Tanim Said, which of these factors, religious conservatism, political instability, or economic barriers, is affecting youth development, and particularly SRHR in the Maldives and Lebanon? So, and this time the question is to Lebanon and Maldives. So I'd request Lebanon first to respond. Lina Sabra, are you there? We are having some internet issue. Okay. Actually, Lina, you start, and by this time, hopefully, Lina Sabra will be rejoined.
Tanim, that's a very good question, how we work in this context. So, of course, we always work, we do not go against the laws of the countries, and we do follow all the regulations. So what happens is when we deliver sexual reproductive health, there are components which we can take and which we cannot take also. So that's why in the beginning also I've spoken about we need to consider the country context also when we're delivering services or awareness or creating awareness or involving. So We have on board religious leaders also. We have close connections with moderate level religious scholars also. So one of our program is engaging men and boys to combat violence. So we bring in religious scholars to talk about Islamic perspective of ending violence. So those are ways which we work together. And then also when we take sessions in schools and for young people, we do involve their parents, we do involve their teachers, we involve the whole community so that they get the understanding of what we are going to deliver and what are we delivering to their young people, so that they also are in consent of what we are conducting in schools and other places also. So those are ways which we work around that.
Okay, thank you. I think by this time Lina Sabra has joined. Can you show the questions for Lina Sabra again? Tanim Said asked this question to you and Maldives. Which of these factors, religious conservatism, political instability, or economic barriers, is affecting your development, and particularly SRHR in Lebanon? So Maldives has already responded.
Okay, so all of them. Yani it depends on the community. In Lebanon, the communities are different yani from governorate to governorate. The main challenge is the crisis and the war and displacement. This is the biggest challenge for us for now. As for the religious and conservative communities, we are training our young people to deal with them and how to connect with the communities and to talk with them with their own language, their own perspectives, and how to provide the information and the services based on their structures, their privacy, and their their structure as communities. For example, the messages that we are giving to people in rural area are different from I mean the language, not the information itself. The language should be different. We target the messages for the communities based on their places of on their structures, on their understandings, on their level of education. So the flexibility in giving the message help us. Regarding the policies and laws in Lebanon, we don't have a lot of. We have some challenges, but it's a little bit flexible, so we can deal with people, but taking into considerations the policies and laws.
Thank you, Lina. I think Tomoko is connected now, so I'd like to give the floor to Tomoko. If you are your video is unstable, you can speak. Just put your microphone on and then start. Anyway, she's disconnected again. Sabik, do you want to put any comments on the issue both Lina's talked about? Do you have any perspective to say on this particular question?
Could I have the question again?
Can you put the question again? And though Tanim asked about the context of Maldives and Lebanon, and so he talked about three factors: religious conservatism, political instability, and economic barrier. Which affects most in case of Bangladesh, or even you can talk about?
I think all of these are like very big factors in Bangladesh. specifically like the religious conservatism and also the political instability has affected the country in the last few years. So it has had like significant barriers for SRHR and youth development, and we have seen like crime rates and like cases of sexual violence skyrocket in this time. So it definitely has been an issue. But right now, I think the situation is getting better for the better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think there is another question, Bashir. He asks, what are the biggest barriers preventing young people from turning their aspiration into opportunities and meaningful change? Very broad question. So anybody can take it, whoever wants. Should I pass it to Aishalina?
Sure, I can answer, I think. As I have mentioned, I think the beginning also young people face similar challenges in different contexts also. So the question is, what are the challenges, right? Yeah. I think the opportunities and to participate meaningfully in the community are challenges for young people. For us, the geographical dispersion is a challenge because though we have a very effective and good health system, youth-friendly services are not available across. So trained people, we need to invest in trained people who can provide youth-friendly services. These particular services are significant for youth, so those services has to be, I think, aligned with the government policies also. And also, again, how within the close-knit communities, how confidentialities can be maintained and how young people will be welcome to these services. That's a challenge we face, and then we need to tackle also. And also, again, building trust. And then again, rather than making them beneficiaries, involving them in all our planning and development programs.
Okay, thank you. I think while we are having questions from the audiences, let's come back to the panelists with another question. First, we can start with Sabik. If I ask you, what is one action that we should collectively commit to over the next year to make life better for young people? Did you get me? One action that you people think that we collectively commit over the next year, in 1 year of time, what should we do for the young people?
Thank you for the question. I think it's what I was talking about previously as well. Like, we should institutionalize the youth participation, and the government and should invest in young people in a way that goes like beyond specific projects. So as I said already, I think that a lot of the organizations and institutions, they are ready for creating spaces for young people like PSTC and IPPF. But we have to make sure that the youth participation is really built into how these organizations and institutions work, and not just be like specific project based. It also means that investing in the youth-led organizations and giving the youth the resources, the mentorship, and the opportunities to actually take the ideas forward. So like, I don't think that it just means that giving the young people the responsibility and leaving them without guidance to figure things on their own. Like most of us, we are still students and very early in our careers. So I think that we need guidance from the adults as well, who can support us and place the trust in us and give us the space to lead. And like we aren't just the leaders of tomorrow, we are already part of the community right now, and we are already contributing. So I think if governments and developmental partners and the civil society can make youth participation a sustained part of their work rather than it being occasional, we can bring much more meaningful change and lasting change.
Okay, thank you, Sabik. Can I pass to Lina Sabra? Do you want to comment on this particular point or question?
Yes, at the national level, we have to trust the young people and give them the space to lead, not only in the youth project and the programs and activities, but at all levels of the association and in the other projects. And they are not, they will not be working only in the youth programs, but also in the other programs of the association. At the regional level, we can have collaboration also at the regional level. We can provide spaces for young people to exchange experiences, develop joint initiatives, share digital tools and knowledge, and advocate together on issues affecting their generation.
Thank you. Thank you, Lina Sabra. From our backend support, before I go to Aisha Lina, can you put the questions from the audiences? We just, Nuha Shoshen, how does the unique geographic context of the Maldives shape the employment opportunities of youths? And does it have specific policies that assist youths with disabilities? So I reserve this question for definitely Aisha Lina, and I want to see other questions as well, so that we are approaching to the end. So can you put some other questions as well? How can youth be more involved in the decision making process? Next, please. So we'll summarize the question when I answer, in fact. Shohag Mahmood, young people across different contexts may have different challenges, but their aspirations are often similar. How can we move beyond simply listening to young people and give them real power to shape decisions on SRHR, gender equality, and their future? Is there any other questions in our stock? Otherwise, I'll request Aisha Lina to speak.
Thank you, Dr. Noor.
Okay, over to.
I will, yeah.
Oh, there's no.
Yeah,
I
there's
have
one
the
question.
Let me read it out. Sabik, this question is to Sabik. Could you mention the Bangladesh government initiative for young people? Okay, first to Aisha Lina.
Yeah, I think for the question, Dr. Noor, you have asked, I will give some of my points also. I think this will cover the other questions or somewhat. I think we must, the lessons that all of us have is that we believe in that there are universal context also, that is young people must be genuine partners in designing, implementing and evaluating programs. When young people have their ownership, programs become, I think, more relevant, sustainable and impactful. And then second is, as all the others have said, trust is the fundamental. Young people are more likely to access services when they know they will be treated with dignity, the confidentiality will be maintained, and that they will be respected for whatever service they are seeking. And then third, I believe that communities must be part of the solutions. And then when we talk about involving them, I think as a federation or as individual organizations, we need to learn from each other's experiences and respect our different contexts and work together. We can build societies where everyone young person has the opportunity to lead and succeed, I think. And what was the second question? I think
Can you put the second question after Nuhar? I think Hasnat was
something related to Maldives, right?
Mhm.
Not this one.
Not
Yeah,
the
the
earlier one.
previous one. Yeah.
Nuhash.
Yeah, how does the unique geography? Yeah, it's a huge challenge
Disability
for us.
issue,
And then,
he has mentioned.
yeah,
Any program for the disability?
we do have in Maldives, we do have programs in our context for the disabled persons, and then also in the country context, yes, employment is allowed at some levels, but given the unique context of unique geography of the country, it's a challenge for the country also to engage youth in employment. And then most of the population lives in the capital city of Male, and Male is very congested. So youth face a lot of challenges. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think, do you want to give a very brief response to Tajul Islam, I guess, Sabik? And do you have anything to say? What is the young people's program from the government? And do you have any?
Yeah, the government has. Sorry.
Yeah, carry on, please.
The government has had like several initiatives for the young people, especially through the National Youth Policy and through the Department of Youth Development. There are many projects taken like for entrepreneurship and developing skills for the youth, and they are doing a good job, I think.
Okay, I think we are approaching to the end. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the panelists, Aisha Lina Sabra, Sabik Rahman, and we're sorry that there was some connectivity problem from Tomoko, so she has taken off. She had to quit, basically. Let me briefly summarize what I believe from the discussions we got in today's dialogue. First, different realities, but shared aspirations. Our speakers come from very different contexts, but young people's aspiration for dignity, opportunity, participation, health, education, decent work, and hope are remarkably universal. The second is youth are partners, not beneficiaries. Young people should be involved not only in receiving programs, but in designing, implementing, and evaluating the policies and programs that affect their lives. The third one is collaboration is the way forward. Governments, civil society, development partners, youth networks, and young people themselves all have complementarity roles to play. We need to learn from one another and strengthen collaboration across countries and generations. International Youth Day should therefore be more than a celebration. It should be a call to action. Let us listen more carefully to young people. Let us create genuine spaces for their participation. Let us invest in their leadership, health, education, opportunities, and ideas. And let us remember, investing in young people is not simply investing in tomorrow, it is recognizing and investing in leadership today. Different contexts do not have to divide us when common aspirations unite us. On behalf of PSTC, IPPF, and our partners today, I sincerely thank our opening speaker, Tomoko Fukuda, and our distinguished panelists, Aisha Lina Sabra, and Sabik Rahman. Thank you for sharing your experiences, insights, and vision. And thank you to everyone joining us from Bangladesh, Maldives, Lebanon, and across South Asia and beyond. Let us continue to listen, learn, collaborate, and act so that every young person has the opportunity not only to dream, but to turn those aspirations into reality. With that, I bring the second episode of the People First Dialogue series to a close. Thank you very much and happy International Youth Day 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank